Welcome back. Tonight, we're drifting slowly into the complete lore of Michael Afton, the enduring figure at the heart of Five Nights at Freddy's canonical events. A man drawn into a web of mechanical deceptions and familial legacies through his role as technician, night guard, and manager in shadowed facilities built on innovation and hidden horrors. Born as the eldest son of William Afton, co-founder of Fredbear Entertainment, Michael steps through multiple establishments, from the underground depths of Circus Baby's entertainment and rental to the simulated pizzeria that would become his final confrontation, navigating nightly dangers that transform him from human to something far beyond, yet driven always by purpose and quiet resolve. His path extends through possession and decay, marked by survival in a deteriorated form, reflective entries in the survival logbook, and oversight in ventures that gather remnant echoes for resolution. From the underground vents where he first confronts Circus Baby's voice to the custom night sequences that erode his humanity, to the managerial choices that shape a final convergence of possessed scraps, haunting locations. This is the story of how family obligation became a conduit for confronting animatronic intentions, and how one man's persistence unraveled the threads of robotics experiments in remnant preservation across multiple establishments and timelines. Whether you're uncovering these details for the first time, letting familiar echoes pull you deeper into rest amid the series' mechanical hums, or simply allowing the tale to wash over you like a gentle fog as sleep takes hold, this will carry you through the full, unbroken history of Michael Afton. Before we begin, feel free to like and subscribe, but only if you enjoy this kind of slow, immersive storytelling that unfolds like a dream. And let me know in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is for you. It's always a quiet wonder to see the same story weaving through different corners of the world, one hushed night at a time. Let's begin. Deep beneath the surface in a facility known as Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental, Michael Afton steps into his new position as the central figure guiding events through the night, a role that draws him into the shadowed operations of Afton Robotics. He descends via a private elevator, one reserved for key personnel, accessing an underground complex meticulously designed for maintaining and deploying the funtime animatronics for off-site rentals to various events and parties. Hand Unit, the interactive tablet interface that serves as his primary guide and companion throughout the shifts, introduces him to the role of technician, tasked with routine checks, electrical shocks, and system reboots to ensure operational readiness and prevent any malfunctions that could disrupt client bookings or lead to unexpected behaviors from the machines. This setup emerges from the broader framework of Afton Robotics operations, where precise nightly procedures are essential to maintain the facade of harmless entertainment while concealing deeper, more experimental purposes involving remnant collection and soul binding. Michael's arrival marks the start of a structured routine, pulling him into a world of dimly lit galleries, echoing vents, and service rooms filled with the faint hum of machinery, where each shift builds toward revelations tied to the animatronics' hidden drives and their relentless pursuit of freedom. As he navigates these initial tasks, the facility's isolation amplifies every sound, from the creak of metal joints to the distant echoes of pre-recorded laughter, creating an atmosphere where routine maintenance blurs into survival instincts. As William Afton's eldest son and Elizabeth Afton's brother, details he later confirms in a recorded reflection that echoes through the game's endings, Michael enters this space carrying instructions linked directly to his father's directives, a pull that reconnects him to a family legacy steeped in innovation and tragedy. William Afton, co-founder of Fredbear Entertainment alongside Henry Emily, had arranged for Michael's placement here through subtle communications, drawing him back into family operations that had long been dormant following earlier incidents at surface-level pizzerias. The facility's layout, with its array of spring-lock suits stored in forgotten corners and scooping mechanisms housed in restricted areas, supports the rental service by enabling the injection of remnant into unaware technicians, a process Michael unwittingly joins as he follows hand unit's prompts. This connection causes him to persist through escalating challenges as hand unit's protocols demand strict compliance for shift completion, payroll processing, and access to deeper levels of the complex. His familial tie explains the unrestricted access granted to him, positioning him at the heart of experiments meant to capture and preserve souls within the animatronics. Experiments that trace back to Williams' earlier work with Henry on the original Freddy Fazbear lineup. Through this lens, Michael's involvement becomes a bridge between past creations and current horrors, where obedience to paternal guidance leads to encounters that test not just his technical skills, but his very humanity. The underground facility's sterile corridors and performance stages become a theater for this unfolding drama, where each night reveals another layer of the deception woven into the rental service's operations. Night after night, Michael confronts the Funtime series. Circus Baby, the charismatic ringleader with her ice cream dispenser, Ballora, the graceful ballerina with her melodic tunes, Funtime Freddy, the boisterous bear with his detachable bonbon puppet, and Funtime Foxy, the agile pirate fox. He executes repairs, evasions, and countermeasures that test his endurance and quick thinking. Hand unit's directives lead him through shocking, out-of-place units with controlled electrical bursts, crawling through narrow vents to avoid detection, and rebooting circuit breakers in rooms alive with potential threats. Each action averts immediate dangers from the mobile entertainers, programmed for both performance and something far more sinister. These encounters matter because they expose the animatronic's autonomy, driven by implanted AI systems and deeper possessions from captured essences, forcing Michael to adapt or face disassembly in the facility's unforgiving environment. His completion of the week, noted by Hand Unit as a display of unusual commitment and bravery in the face of malfunctioning equipment, unlocks private chambers and culminates in a transformative event that reshapes his path. This progression leaves him altered, setting the course for confrontations that echo through the facility's core, where the line between maintainer and maintained dissolves into a quiet struggle for release. The ventilation systems carry whispers of movement, the galleries pulse with contained energy, and the service rooms await with tools that serve purposes beyond simple repair. In a quiet space after escaping Circus Baby's entertainment and rental, Michael's presence first materializes through subtle visual cues captured in the game's endings and minigames, offering a glimpse into his form amid the echoes of the facility's mechanical underbelly. As he stands before a grimy mirror in the real ending sequence, his reflection emerges as a stark purple silhouette, devoid of intricate details, yet unmistakably human in outline, with broad shoulders and a steady posture that speaks to his role as the enduring technician. This simple rendering stems from the bathroom's low-light conditions, where fluorescent bulbs flicker overhead, and the mirror's tarnished surface, coated in layers of dust and residue from years of disuse, obscures finer features while emphasizing his isolated stance in the private room. Hand Unit's interface, having guided him through the perilous shifts with its cheerful yet mechanical voice, fades away in this moment, leaving the silhouette to underscore his survival amid the mechanical horrors that lurk in the vents and galleries. The silhouette matters because it symbolizes Michael's entry point into the lore, a blank slate upon which the player's actions imprint lasting consequences, leading directly to his entanglement with the animatronic schemes and their desperate bids for escape. This visual choice reinforces the canonical focus on his role as technician, where anonymity and reflection highlights the personal toll of the job, setting up the transformative events that follow in the custom nights, and revealing how routine maintenance evolves into a fight for autonomy. Shifting to the custom night minigames, Michael's appearance gains clarity and depth, revealing light skin tones that contrast sharply with the shadowy environments he navigates during his post-shift walks through quiet neighborhoods. His hair, a darkish brown shade combed neatly over to one side, frames a face marked by blue eyes that convey a quiet alertness and subtle determination, eyes that seem to scan the surroundings for any sign of pursuit or anomaly. This detailed sprite design arises from the game's need to depict his progression through everyday scenes, where environmental interactions such as passing streetlights casting long shadows, or distant houses with warm windows, demand a relatable human form to ground the horror in reality. In Afton Robotics' broader context, such visuals tie back to William Afton's influence on the family line, as Michael's features subtly echo familial traits without overt exaggeration, traits that become more poignant as decay sets in later. They hold significance in canon by humanizing the protagonist, allowing players to connect with his routine before the physical breakdown begins, which in turn amplifies the horror of his later changes and the isolation that follows. The effect is a deepened immersion, where his initial normalcy causes the audience to anticipate the inevitable erosion from Enard's possession, building a narrative bridge from ordinary life to the facility's unforgiving depths. Complementing his facial details, Michael's attire consists of a purple long-sleeved shirt paired with blue pants and brown shoes, an ensemble that appears practical and unassuming for the underground work in Circus Baby's dimly lit corridors. This clothing choice originates from the custom night assets designed to blend everyday wear with the facility's purple-themed motifs, subtly nodding to his Afton heritage through color associations tied to Williams' earlier designs in Fazbear Entertainment. A warm, elongated smile often accompanies these sprites, softening his demeanor amid the tension of post-shift scenes. A smile that hints at a lingering humanity before the scooping alters everything. In the lore, this outfit matters as it grounds Michael in the tangible world above ground, contrasting the animatronic's metallic forms with their glowing eyes and segmented limbs, and explaining his ability to move undetected at first during surface excursions. The result is a layered character portrayal where his unassuming look facilitates the narrative's pivot toward bodily horror, ensuring the player's investment in his fate as the shift's demands culminate in irreversible alteration and a path toward quiet confrontation. The purple of his shirt becomes increasingly significant as his journey progresses, a color that will come to define his transformed state in ways he cannot yet anticipate during these early walks through suburban streets, lined with modest homes and gentle evening breezes. In the aftermath of the scooping incident, deep within Circus Baby's entertainment and rental, Michael's body undergoes a profound shift, emerging as a reanimated form sustained by unnatural means that defy conventional biology. Enard, the amalgamated endoskeleton formed from the Funtime animatronics combined parts, including Circus Baby's core, Ballora's graceful frame, Funtime Freddy's sturdy build, and Funtime Foxy's agile components, enters his hollowed frame, using it as a vessel to escape the facility's confines and blend into the surface world. This possession originates from Circus Baby's calculated deception during Night 5, where she lures Michael to the scooping room under the pretense of guidance and assistance, only for the massive mechanical claw to extract his organs while injecting remnant to enable Enard's integration. The skin turns a dark purple hue from rapid decay, a direct result of the body's rejection and the endoskeleton's corrosive presence seeping through tissues, as depicted in the progressive custom night cutscenes that show his walks growing more labored. Hand Unit's earlier protocols, once a constant companion with their upbeat instructions, fade into irrelevance here as Michael's survival defies standard biological limits, marking a canonical pivot where human endurance meets mechanical intrusion in Afton Robotics' hidden experiments. This change isolates him further, transforming a once ordinary technician into a figure shrouded in shadow, with consequences that ripple through his lingering existence and force him into seclusion, away from prying eyes. As decay progresses in the custom night sequences, Michael's facial features erode markedly, leaving him without a nose, hair, or most of his teeth, alterations driven by the ongoing possession and environmental exposure that accelerate the breakdown over time. Enard's integration causes this relentless deterioration as the endoskeleton's wiring, circuits, and remnant-infused parts corrode the host from within, turning flesh into a mottled shell unfit for normal life. In Afton Robotics' underground setup, such transformations underscore the facility's role in remnant experiments, where souls and machinery blend to prolong unnatural life, experiments rooted in William Afton's pursuit of immortality through captured essences. Circus Baby's voice echoes faintly during the revival moment, assuring you won't die, as Michael collapses and rises, which catalyzes his continued animation despite the scooper's fatal strike and the subsequent vomiting of metallic remnants. This loss of human traits matters in the lore by emphasizing the cost of meddling with William Afton's creations, stripping Michael of normalcy and forcing a hidden path through quiet neighborhoods where once friendly waves turn to avoidance. The effect is a deepened vulnerability, where his altered state prevents social interactions, leading to solitary walks that highlight his growing detachment from the world above and push him toward a reflective resolve. Empty eye sockets now dominate Michael's visage, pierced only by small white pupils that glow faintly in the dim light of post-shift scenes, a visual born from Enard's eventual expulsion into the sewer grate during the final stages of incompatibility. This regurgitation stems from the endoskeleton's instability within the decaying host, as shown in the concluding custom night cutscene, where the buildup of rot and mechanical strain forces separation, leaving Michael to slump before rising anew. Within the broader Fazbear Entertainment framework, these eyes symbolize persistent awareness amid ruin, tying back to the animatronic's own possessed optics with their eerie glows, a design choice that echoes through the series' haunted machinery. The reanimation's purpose, initially escape for Enard, leaves Michael resilient yet scarred, enabling him to pursue unresolved ties to his family and the facility's lingering secrets. In canon, this detail reinforces the theme of enduring consequences from facility encounters, where physical horror yields to quiet resolve, allowing Michael to voice his intentions in the game's reflective monologues. Ultimately, it positions him for future reflections, his gaze a silent testament to survival's toll, bridging the gap between his human origins and the mechanical fate that binds him. The white pupils become beacons in the darkness, markers of something that should not be walking, yet persists with unwavering determination through streets that grow emptier with each passing night. By the time Michael Afton assumes his duties at Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental, he has reached a stage of adulthood marked by a noticeable maturity, a quality that manifests in his steady approach to the increasingly hazardous tasks assigned by Hand Unit. This development stems from years beyond his earlier life, where impulsive actions may have defined him, ambiguous in canon, now replaced by a composed demeanor that allows him to navigate the facility's protocols with precision and foresight. Hand Unit, the guiding interface, repeatedly acknowledges this through its commentary on his performance, noting how he returns promptly each evening despite the malfunctions and close calls that escalate with every shift in Afton Robotics' structured environment. This maturity enables him to follow directives like shocking the funtime animatronics or rebooting systems without hesitation, ensuring the rental operations continue smoothly on the surface level. It matters in the canon because it contrasts with the animatronics' erratic behaviors, highlighting Michael's human capacity for growth and adaptation amid William Afton's lingering influences. As a result, his persistence builds a foundation for enduring the facility's trials, leading to deeper involvements that test not just his skills, but his evolving sense of purpose. The measured way he approaches each night, checking systems methodically and responding to Hand Unit's prompts with efficiency, speaks to someone who has learned to control fear and channel it into focused action. Michael's commitment shines through in his unwavering return to the underground complex night after night, a determination fueled by underlying instructions from his father, William Afton, which pull him into the heart of the rental service's secrets. This resolve originates from a quiet obedience to familial ties, as evidenced in his later monologue, where he references finding the location exactly as directed, persisting through deceptions to fulfill what was asked. Hand Unit's payroll system reinforces this by processing his earnings only upon completion of each shift, a mechanic that rewards his steadfastness while exposing him to greater risks like the Bidybab's intrusions or Bellora's silent approaches within Fazbear Entertainment's extended legacy. Such determination underscores Michael's role as a bridge between human intent and mechanical possession, allowing him to uncover the animatronic's plans without immediate retreat. This trait holds significance by driving the narrative forward, where his maturity prevents panic and enables strategic evasions through vents and service rooms. Consequently, it positions him for the transformative scooping event, transforming personal drive into a catalyst for survival and reflection in the custom night sequences. Hand Unit's final commendations on Michael's bravery for seeing the week through to its end encapsulate this blend of maturity and determination, traits that emerge as he adapts to the facility's demands despite mounting evidence of danger. This acknowledgement arises from the game's mechanics, where successful completion of tasks like repairing Funtime Freddy or navigating Funtime Auditorium grants access to restricted areas, rewarding his focused mindset. Circus Baby's guiding voice, interspersed with Hand Units, tests this resolve by offering misleading advice that he must discern and counter, a process rooted in his adult perspective on the family's entangled history. In the lore, these qualities matter as they humanize Michael's journey, showing how personal growth equips him to confront the remnant-driven horrors without faltering. The outcome is a deepened resilience where his determination not only secures his immediate survival, but also sets the stage for post-reanimation pursuits, echoing through his recorded words of intent to find resolution. In the quiet intervals following his demanding shifts at Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental, Michael Afton establishes a simple routine of unwinding with television, tuning into episodes of the soap opera The Immortal and the Restless, as a way to decompress from the facility's mechanical tensions. This habit emerges from the game's post-night sequences, where the screen transitions to the show's dramatic narratives featuring characters like Vlad the Vampire and Clara in their ongoing domestic disputes, providing Michael with a scripted escape that mirrors yet contrasts his own entangled family dynamics. Hand unit's completion prompts signal the end of each shift, allowing him this brief respite in what appears to be a modest living space above ground, complete with a flickering TV set and comfortable seating. The choice of this particular program, with its themes of denial and familial conflict, subtly reflects the broader Afton legacy, where William's secrets cast long shadows over personal moments. As a result, these viewings offer Michael a momentary detachment, easing the mental strain accumulated from evading Ballora's dances or rebooting systems amid funtime Freddy's taunts, fostering a fragile sense of normalcy before the next descent. The soap opera's melodramatic plot lines, with Vlad's insistent denials of paternity and Clara's emotional appeals, create a strange parallel to Michael's own situation, where family connections prove both inescapable and deeply complicated. Michael complements his evenings by preparing popcorn, a straightforward snack that accompanies nearly every episode, adding a tactile element to his relaxation amid the otherwise sterile echoes of his experiences. This preparation stems from the post-night cutscenes, where bowls of popcorn appear prominently on his table, kernels popped fresh to pair with the unfolding storylines on screen. In the context of Afton Robotics' underground operations, such a habit grounds him in everyday comforts, countering the isolation imposed by the facility's vents and service rooms filled with the whir of animatronic movements. Circus Baby's lingering voice, heard faintly in earlier instructions, fades during these times, allowing the soap opera's dialogues, like Vlad's refusals of paternity, to fill the air instead. This routine matters in canon as it humanizes Michael's endurance, illustrating how small rituals sustain him through the week, preventing burnout from Hand Unit's relentless tasks. Consequently, it builds emotional layers where the crunch of popcorn becomes a quiet anchor, leading toward his persistence in returning despite the growing awareness of deception below. These leisure moments recur almost nightly, settling into a pattern that provides a structured break within the tense rhythm of his technician duties at the rental facility. The consistency arises from the game's design, where post-shift cinematics reliably shift to The Immortal and the Restless, episode by episode, marking progress through the challenges like navigating Funtime Auditorium or fending off mini-arenas. Fazbear Entertainment's overarching influence subtly permeates even here, as the show's absurd plots echo the absurdity of possessed machinery seeking escape. Hand Unit's payroll confirmations at shift's end enable this downtime, rewarding completion with time for reflection amid the aroma of buttered snacks. In the lore, this habit underscores the importance of balance in Michael's arc, where quiet evenings recharge his determination, shielding against the facility's psychological toll. The outcome is a softened resolve, where each viewing session subtly prepares him for the culminations ahead, blending escapism with the inevitable pullback to the underground truths. The television's glow becomes a sanctuary of sorts, a brief island of mundane normality in an existence increasingly defined by mechanical horror and family obligation. In the custom night minigames of Circus Baby's entertainment and rental, Michael's interactions with his neighbors unfold during his evening walks through a quiet suburban area, where friendly gestures mark his passage before the full extent of his changes becomes apparent. As he strolls along the dimly lit streets lined with modest houses and gentle evening breezes, neighbors appear at their windows or doorways, raising hands in cheerful waves that convey a sense of community warmth and normalcy. This behavior stems from the game's cutscene design, where these figures are programmed to respond positively in the initial sequences, reflecting Michael's still human appearance that allows him to blend seamlessly into everyday life. Hand Unit's shift completions enable these surface excursions, providing a brief contrast to the underground facility's isolation with its echoing vents and mechanical whirs. Such moments matter in the canon, as they illustrate Michael's lingering ties to the world above, where simple acknowledgments from passers-by underscore his efforts to maintain a facade of routine amid the growing internal turmoil from Enard's possession. Consequently, these waves create a poignant buildup, highlighting the fragility of his normal existence before decay erodes it, leading toward increased solitude in later scenes. The cheerful greetings from neighbors occur specifically in the earlier stages of the custom night cutscenes, a timing rooted in Michael's gradual physical transformation that hasn't yet repelled those around him. Enard's initial stability within his body permits these outings without immediate suspicion, as his light skin, combed hair, and warm smile still project an approachable demeanor under the soft glow of street lamps. In Afton Robotics' broader narrative framework, these interactions ground the horror in relatable suburbia, contrasting the facility's remnant experiments with the innocence of daily human connections. Circus Baby's earlier deceptions, which led to the scooping, indirectly facilitate this phase by granting Enard a temporary host capable of surface navigation. This presence in the community holds significance by humanizing Michael's arc, showing how he upholds social normalcy despite the mechanical intruder corroding him from within, fostering a quiet empathy for his plight. The result is a layered tension, where each wave serves as a fleeting affirmation of life before avoidance sets in, pushing the story toward reflections on isolation and resolve in his monologue. These neighborly moments suggest Michael maintains a friendly presence in his community during this transitional period, a detail captured through the game's sprite animations, where reciprocal gestures imply mutual recognition and goodwill. William Afton's familial legacy, woven into the facility's designs, indirectly influences this by drawing Michael into horrors that test but don't immediately shatter his external relations. Fredbear Entertainment's entertainment facade extends here, as the cheerful waves mirror the animatronics' performative friendliness. Yet in human form, they offer genuine, if brief, solace. Hand Unit's payroll rewards for persistence enable continued access to this world, where evening strolls become a ritual of quiet observation amid budding decay. In the lore, this friendliness matters as it accentuates the tragedy of his erosion, where community ties fray as purple hues emerge, symbolizing the irreversible cost of his underground encounters. Ultimately, it enriches the narrative, bridging his mature determination with the inevitable detachment that follows Enard's expulsion. As Michael Afton begins his inaugural shift at Circus Baby's entertainment and rental, he assumes the mantle of technician under the watchful guidance of Hand Unit, the automated interface that orients him to the facility's nightly protocols with its cheerful, synthesized voice. The elevator descends smoothly into the underground complex, depositing him in the primary control module, a central hub equipped with monitoring screens and control panels that overlook the performance stages for the Funtime animatronics. Hand Unit initiates the routine by prompting Michael to check on Bellora's positioning in her gallery, where a blue keypad entry illuminates the area and a red entry sends an electrical shock to encourage her return if she's wandered off during downtime. This procedure stems from Afton Robotics' safety measures, designed to maintain order in the rental fleet and prevent unauthorized movements that could compromise the animatronics programming or lead to system errors. Michael's compliance with these steps establishes a pattern of methodical engagement, where each action builds familiarity with the layout, from the echoing Bellora Gallery to the shadowed Funtime Auditorium. In this calm initiation, The facility's ambient hums and distant mechanical clicks create a backdrop of controlled isolation, allowing him to focus on the tasks at hand without immediate escalation, though subtle anomalies hint at deeper autonomies at play. Continuing the orientation, Hand Unit directs Michael to verify Funtime Foxy's position in the Funtime Auditorium, a spacious area filled with props and dim spotlights that simulate performance environments for rental events. Upon noting the animatronic's absence from its designated spot, he inputs the command for a controlled shock. A brief surge of electricity that travels through the facility's wiring to realign the unit back to its stage without causing permanent damage. This mechanism originates from William Afton's engineering blueprints, integrated into the Funtime series to enforce compliance and facilitate maintenance, ensuring the animatronics remain viable for off-site bookings while containing their advanced AI tendencies. With these checks done, Hand Unit instructs a crawl through the forward vent to reach the Circus Gallery control module, where Circus Baby awaits verification through remote sensors. Michael's successful execution of these verifications reinforces his role, granting him a sense of initial accomplishment amid the facility's structured demands. The quiet satisfaction of systems responding as intended softens the underlying tension, where each confirmed reset prevents potential malfunctions, paving the way for more intricate challenges in subsequent nights. With the primary checks complete, Hand Unit concludes the brief session by noting Michael's efficiency, though the shift ends abruptly without full compensation due to its introductory nature, a detail that underscores the facility's stringent payroll protocols tied to Fazbear Entertainment's operational standards. Further interactions occur in Circus Gallery, where lights reveal absent positioning and shocks are applied to Baby. A deliberate pacing in Afton Robotics is designed to acclimate new technicians gradually. This restraint matters in the canon as it builds suspense around the animatronic's capabilities, where repeated shocks to Baby foreshadow her unique role in guiding or misleading future events. Michael's early departure allows reflection on the facility's purpose, blending entertainment facade with experimental undertones. Ultimately, this foundational night sets a precedent for persistence, where initial simplicity yields to complexity, drawing him deeper into the web of family legacies and mechanical secrets below. As Michael's first shift at Circus Baby's entertainment and rental draws to a close, he transitions to a moment of quiet repose, settling in to watch the inaugural episode of The Immortal and the Restless, a soap opera that fills the screen with its melodramatic tales of Vlad the Vampire and his beleaguered partner Clara. This unwind originates from Hand Unit's confirmation of the night's completion, where the interface logs his brief attendance and signals the end of duties, allowing him to ascend via the elevator to a surface-level space equipped with a television and basic comforts. The episode unfolds with dialogue centered on familial denials and emotional pleas, themes that subtly parallel the undercurrents of Afton Robotics' hidden experiments without direct intrusion into his thoughts. In this calm interlude, the facility's earlier hums, from Bellora's stage resets to Funtime Foxy's shocks, fade into the background, replaced by the show's scripted conflicts that provide a detached narrative to process the day's introductions. Michael's choice to engage with this content matters in establishing his routine, where entertainment serves as a buffer against the underground's mechanical precision, fostering a sense of continuity amid William Afton's lingering directives. Consequently, it eases the transition to subsequent nights, where initial acclimation yields to deeper engagements with the Funtime series. To accompany the viewing, Michael prepares a bowl of popcorn, a simple snack that adds a sensory layer to his post-shift relaxation. with kernels popping steadily in preparation for the episode's runtime. This preparation stems from the game's cinematic design, where the bowl appears prominently on his table, buttered and ready as the TV flickers to life, offering a tangible comfort after the sterile interactions with hand units' keypad commands. Fazbear Entertainment's entertainment ethos extends subtly here, as the snack mirrors the light concessions of pizzeria events, standing in quiet opposition to the sterile shocks and checks below. Circus Baby's responses to the night's shocks linger faintly in his mind, but the popcorn's warmth grounds him in the present, diverting focus from potential anomalies like her absences that might echo in memory. This addition holds significance in the canon by humanizing Michael's endurance, illustrating how everyday indulgences sustain him through the isolation of technician duties, preventing the weight of familial ties from overwhelming immediately. The result is a balanced evening where the crunch and aroma create a soft barrier, leading toward renewed determination for the challenges awaiting in Ballora Gallery and beyond. This winding down marks the beginning of a recurring pattern, where Michael savors the episode's conclusion before retiring, a ritual that anchors his nights following the facility's demands. Hand Unit's abbreviated payroll for the introductory shift reinforces this brevity, granting just enough time for the viewing without extension, a mechanic rooted in Afton Robotics' efficiency protocols. The soap opera's plot points, such as Vlad's refusals and Clara's insistences, provide a narrative distance from the real deceptions brewing below, like the fun-time animatronics' programmed behaviors. In the lore, this routine underscores the importance of mental respite in Michael's arc, where quiet moments recharge his maturity, shielding against the psychological strains of vents and breakers. Ultimately, it enriches the progression, blending escapism with subtle foreshadowing of family echoes that will surface in later reflections. As Michael Afton returns for his second shift at Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental, the facility's routines deepen, with Hand Unit once again guiding him through the primary control module to verify the Funtime animatronics' positions amid the underground's persistent hums and faint mechanical echoes. The night begins similarly to the first, prompting checks on Ballora in her graceful gallery and Funtime Foxy in the dimly lit auditorium, where keypad entries send controlled electrical shocks to realign them if they've strayed from their stages during idle hours. This repetition stems from Afton Robotics' maintenance protocols, designed to uphold the rental service's reliability by countering the unit's tendencies toward independent movement, a feature embedded in their advanced AI for dynamic performances. However, when Michael attempts to shock Circus Baby, the system fails unexpectedly, triggering Hand Unit to announce a malfunction and system reboot, plunging the module into darkness and isolating him from immediate controls. In this moment, Circus Baby's voice emerges through the speakers, calm and instructive, advising him to hide beneath the desk to evade the approaching biddy-babs, small companion animatronics that scurry with childlike giggles. Michael's adherence to her guidance prevents detection as the desk's enclosure shields him, while the biddy-babs tug at the doors, their efforts subsiding only after persistent hiding, allowing the power to restore gradually. This escalation matters in the canon, illustrating the animatronics' growing autonomy and Circus Baby's pivotal role in navigation, where a simple check evolves into a test of patience and stealth, setting a tone of increasing vulnerability for the nights ahead. With systems partially restored, Hand Unit directs Michael to venture into Ballora Gallery, a narrow, music-filled corridor where Ballora performs her eternal dances, requiring him to crawl slowly to avoid alerting her sensitive audio sensors that detect even the slightest noise. This traversal originates from the facility's layout, engineered by William Afton to separate performance areas while incorporating maintenance paths that demand caution, as Ballora's mini-arena attendants and melodic tunes create an atmosphere of poised threat. Circus Baby's continued voice offers tips on timing movements with the music's rhythm, enabling Michael to progress without collision, though the creaks of the vent floor test his control amid the ballerina's twirls. Upon reaching the far end, he emerges unscathed, a success that underscores his adapting maturity in following precise instructions amid sensory cues. Fredbear Entertainment's entertainment roots shine through in Ballora's design, blending artistry with peril, which heightens the stakes of routine tasks. The outcome reinforces his determination, where evasion leads to the next phase, bridging the gallery's isolation to broader facility interactions without immediate harm. Arriving in the breaker room, Michael faces the task of rebooting the power systems while contending with Funtime Freddy, whose erratic movements and bonbon puppet add layers of distraction in the cluttered space filled with circuits and fuses. Hand Unit's interface provides a map for sequential reboots, but Funtime Freddy's proximity requires playing audio cues to lure him away, a mechanic rooted in the animatronics programming for interactive shows that now serves as a defensive tool. Bonbon's voice clips aid in timing the distractions, preventing the bear's approach as panels light up one by one. This challenge holds significance by exposing the Funtime's possessive drives, where successful reboots restore full functionality, but hint at coordinated intents among the units. Michael's completion of the sequence amid the room's flickering lights and mechanical growls marks a quiet triumph, easing the night's tensions and paving the way for further revelations in Afton Robotics' depths. Following the completion of his second shift at Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental, Michael Afton eases into another evening of quiet unwinding, turning once more to an episode of The Immortal and the Restless to decompress from the facility's mounting intricacies. Hand Unit's final log-off message confirms the night's tasks, from hiding from Biddy-Babs in the primary control module to rebooting breakers amid Funtime Freddy's distractions, allowing him to ascend the elevator and settle in a simple space where the television's glow pushes back the shadows of Ballora Gallery's echoes. The soap opera resumes its storyline, delving deeper into Vlad's vampiric denials and Clara's persistent appeals for familial acknowledgement, narratives that unfold with a rhythmic predictability, contrasting the underground's unpredictable malfunctions. This choice of viewing stems from the game's post-shift cinematics, designed to provide a narrative breather that subtly mirrors themes of deception and legacy within Afton Robotics' framework. Michael's engagement with the episode offers a measured release, where the scripted dramas absorb the residual tension from Circus Baby's guiding voice and the vent crawls, fostering a space for reflection without overt confrontation. In this routine, the facility's ambient strains recede, replaced by the show's dialogues that hint at personal parallels, strengthening his resolve for the challenges ahead while maintaining a facade of normalcy tied to William Afton's distant directives. To enhance the viewing, Michael readies a fresh bowl of popcorn, its preparation a deliberate step that adds warmth and texture to the post-shift calm, with kernels popping steadily as the episode begins. This accompaniment appears consistently in the post-night cutscenes, positioned on his table as a staple of these evenings, buttered lightly to complement the unfolding plot without distraction. Fredbear Entertainment's entertainment ethos subtly influences even this moment, as the snack evokes the light concessions of pizzeria events, standing in quiet opposition to the sterile shocks and reboots below. Circus Baby's earlier instructions, lingering in memory from the gallery traversal, fade amid the aroma, allowing the crunch to ground him in the present and divert from potential bidybab intrusions that might replay in thought. This habit holds significance in the canon by underscoring Michael's maturity, where simple comforts sustain his determination through isolation, preventing the weight of familial experiments from encroaching fully. The result is a balanced interlude where the popcorn's familiarity bridges the underground's demands with surface respite, leading toward sustained persistence in the face of growing autonomies among the fun times. This evening pattern solidifies as a recurring anchor, where Michael absorbs the episode's developments before the night fully ends, a ritual that mirrors the structured progression of his technician duties at the rental facility. Hand Unit's efficiency in processing the shift's data grants this downtime, ensuring brief but essential recovery amid Afton Robotics' protocols that blend maintenance with subtle perils. The soap opera's escalating conflicts, such as Clara's confrontations, provide narrative distance from real deceptions like the power failures or Ballora's approaches, enriching the lore's human elements without direct intrusion. In Michael's arc, this consistency matters as it humanizes his endurance, blending escapism with subtle foreshadowing of family echoes that surface in later monologues. Ultimately, it enriches the narrative flow, where each session recharges his quiet resolve, preparing him for the repairs and revelations awaiting in the facility's depths. As Michael Afton commences his third shift at Circus Baby's entertainment and rental, the familiar descent via the elevator leads him back to the primary control module, where Hand Unit's voice resumes its guiding role, prompting a continuation of the nightly verifications amid the facility's subdued lighting and distant mechanical stirrings. The routine begins with inspections of Ballora in her melodic gallery and Funtime Foxy in the expansive auditorium, where keypad commands deliver controlled electrical shocks to ensure their return to designated stages, a process rooted in Afton Robotics' protocols to maintain operational integrity for rental deployments. These checks proceed without the previous night's power failures, allowing Michael to confirm each animatronic's positioning through the module screens, which display grainy feeds of the unit's idle poses. Circus Baby remains off stage, her voice absent in this phase, leaving the focus on the other's compliance. This methodical start underscores Michael's growing acclimation, where each successful reset builds confidence in navigating William Afton's engineered systems, blending maintenance with subtle vigilance. In the calm progression, the facility's vents whisper faintly, a reminder of traverse paths as the inspections pave the way for deeper access, highlighting the animatronic's programmed predictability before anomalies arise. With the initial verifications complete, Hand Unit directs Michael to traverse Funtime Auditorium, a dimly illuminated space cluttered with performance props and echoing with potential movements from Funtime Foxy, requiring careful steps to avoid detection by the Fox's motion sensors. This navigation stems from the facility's design, which incorporates such areas for animatronic testing while necessitating technician intervention for system alignments. As Funtime Foxy's agility demands precise timing to cross without incident, Circus Baby's intermittent guidance returns subtly, offering cues on when to move amid the shadows, enabling Michael to reach the far side unscathed and proceed to the parts and service room. Here he encounters Funtime Freddy in a deactivated state, tasked with repairs that involve securing the detachable Bon-Bon puppet and extracting a power module from the bear's chest cavity. Fazbear Entertainment's legacy of interactive entertainers influences this setup, where modular components allow for easy fixes but expose vulnerabilities in the unit's endoskeletons. Michael's steady hands complete the procedure, a testament to his maturity amid the room's tools and spare parts, fostering a quiet efficiency that counters the earlier evasions. The result strengthens his role, bridging surface tasks with core maintenance, leading toward the night's unforeseen turn. Upon retrieving the power module, Michael retraces his path through Funtime Auditorium. But the return journey proves treacherous as Funtime Foxy, now fully alert, lunges from the darkness, delivering a sudden impact that renders him unconscious. This knockout originates from the animatronics' advanced mobility programming, intended for dynamic shows, but repurposed here in response to perceived intrusions, as the Fox's sensors trigger an aggressive protocol absent in prior crossings. Hand Unit's interface offers no immediate warning, leaving the encounter to unfold in the auditorium's gloom, where spotlights cast erratic shadows over props and cables. In Afton Robotics' framework, such events emphasize the Funtime's dual nature. Entertainers capable of independent actions driven by remnant influences. This incident matters in the canon by escalating the physical risks, where a routine repair shifts to vulnerability, testing Michael's determination without permanent halt. Ultimately, it sets the stage for recovery in subsequent nights, where unconsciousness yields to revelations about the facility's protective deceptions. As Michael Afton stirs back to awareness on his fourth shift at Circus Baby's entertainment and rental, he finds himself confined within a spring-lock suit, a relic mechanism from earlier Fazbear designs that compresses the body with metal endoskeleton parts, its tight embrace a disorienting blend of cold steel and faded fabric. This enclosure stems from the previous night's encounter in Funtime Auditorium, where Funtime Foxy's sudden strike left him unconscious, vulnerable in the facility's shadowed corridors until intervention occurred. Circus Baby's voice, calm and explanatory through the suit's internal speakers, reveals that she dragged him to safety in the scooping room, a restricted area equipped with the massive claw device for animatronic disassembly, positioning him inside the suit to shield him from roaming threats like the Minarinas or other Funtimes. Hand Unit remains silent in this recovery phase, its protocols overridden by the animatronics initiative, highlighting the facility's layered autonomies beyond standard maintenance. Michael's gradual orientation within the suite underscores his resilience, where the confined space forces acquired assessment of his surroundings, from the room's dim overhead lights to the distant hums of machinery. In this moment, the lore emphasizes the protective deceptions at play, where an apparent ally's actions prevent immediate harm but draw him closer to Afton Robotics' core experiments, leading toward revelations about the Funtime's collective intents. Circus Baby elaborates on her motives, stating she placed Michael in the spring-lock suit for his own protection, a measure against the other animatronics' aggressive pursuits that roam the facility during off hours, driven by their programmed instincts and remnant-infused drives. This explanation originates from her advanced AI, designed by William Afton to mimic empathy while advancing hidden agendas, as evidenced in her prior guidance through vents and galleries. The scooping room's environment amplifies the tension, with its conveyor belts and metallic walls echoing faintly, a space intended for harvesting parts, but now serving as an impromptu haven. Minarinas, the small ballerina companions to Ballora, begin to approach the suit, their tiny forms clambering with persistent curiosity, requiring Michael to shake them off through careful movements to avoid triggering the spring lock's fatal compression. Fazbear Entertainment's history of suit malfunctions looms here, where improper handling could lead to crushing injuries, testing Michael's composure amid the intrusion. This interaction matters in the canon by revealing the Funtime's interconnected threats, where Baby's intervention causes a temporary safeguard, but exposes him to direct confrontations, fostering a deepened wariness. Consequently, it builds his determination, bridging unconscious vulnerability to active defense in the facility's unforgiving setup. As the mini-arenas persist in their attempts to breach the suit, Michael witnesses Bellora's form being conveyed into the scooping room, where the device activates with a mechanical whir, extracting her endoskeleton in a process that leaves her shell hollowed and discarded. This observation arises from the room's vantage points, allowing a view of the conveyor system's operation. A canonical detail rooted in Afton Robotics' remnant collection methods that repurpose animatronic components for amalgamation. The event unfolds in relative silence, with only the scooper's impacts resounding through the chamber, hinting at plans beyond individual performances among the fun times. Hand Unit's absence prolongs the isolation, emphasizing reliance on Baby's voice amid the claw's rhythmic strikes. In the lore, this sighting holds significance by unveiling the facility's destructive core, where disassembly drives collective evolution, stripping illusions of harmless entertainment. The outcome reinforces Michael's maturity, where passive witnessing yields to proactive evasion of the remaining mini-arenas, paving the path for shift continuation and deeper entanglements. The conveyor's slow movement and the scooper's deliberate precision create a hypnotic horror, where the mechanical ballet of disassembly becomes a grim foreshadowing of what awaits Michael himself. As Michael Afton concludes his fourth shift at Circus Baby's entertainment and rental, marked by the disorienting confinement in the spring-lock suit and the unsettling sight of Bellora's disassembly in the scooping room, he ascends once more to the surface, transitioning into a familiar evening of quiet repose before the impending final night. Hand Unit's log-off, absent during the recovery but implied in the shift's resolution, grants this interlude, where the facility's mechanical echoes, from Mini-Renus's clambering to the claw's rhythmic activations, gradually fade, replaced by the soft hum of a television tuning into The Immortal and the Restless. This pre-final unwind stems from the game's cinematic patterns, positioning the second-to-last episode as a narrative buffer, delving further into Vlad's persistent denials of paternity and Clara's emotional confrontations, themes that weave subtle parallels to the deceptions unfolding below without overt intrusion. Michael's choice to engage with the show offers a measured detachment, allowing the scripted dramas to absorb the residual strain from Circus Baby's explanations and the suit's constricting embrace, fostering a space for subtle reflection amid Afton Robotics' layered secrets. In this calm routine, the surface world's normalcy reasserts itself, with evening light filtering through windows, providing a brief anchor before the descent into the facility's culminating challenges, where familiar legacies loom ever closer. To accompany the episode, Michael prepares his customary bowl of popcorn, savoring each kernel as it pops and settles, adding a sensory warmth to the post-shift calm that counters the cold isolation of the underground encounters. This savoring originates from the post-night cutscenes, where the bowl features prominently, buttered and ready as the storyline progresses, a deliberate indulgence that grounds him after fending off Mini-Renus's intrusions and witnessing the fun time's destructive processes. Fazbear Entertainment's facade of joyful concessions subtly mirrors this snack, standing in opposition to the sterile tools and endoskeletons in parts and service, where repairs blend with emerging threats. Circus Baby's protective claims linger faintly in memory, but the popcorn's texture diverts focus, allowing a moment of unhurried enjoyment amid the aroma that fills the modest space. This habit holds significance in the canon by reinforcing Michael's maturity, where simple pleasures sustain his determination through accumulating vulnerabilities, preventing the weight of William Afton's designs from overwhelming entirely. The result is a balanced evening where each bite bridges the facility's demands with personal rest, leading toward renewed focus for the revelations awaiting in the private chambers. This relaxation persists as a steady anchor in Michael's routine, where the episode's developments unfold methodically, providing a rhythmic close to the day before the facility calls him back for its final trials. Hand Unit's efficiency in prior shifts enables this consistency, ensuring brief yet essential recovery amid Afton Robotics' protocols that entwine maintenance with subtle perils like spring lock failures. The soap opera's intensifying conflicts, such as Clara's pleas for truth, offer narrative distance from real manipulations like Baby's interventions that mask collective intents among the fun times. In the lore, this steadfast pattern matters as it humanizes his endurance, blending escapism with foreshadowing of family echoes that emerge in monologues, enriching the arc without haste. Ultimately, it strengthens the narrative flow, where each session recharges his quiet resolve, preparing him for the deceptions and discoveries in the depths below. As Michael Afton embarks on his fifth and final shift at Circus Baby's entertainment and rental, the elevator's descent delivers him once more to the primary control module, where the facility's ambient glow and subtle mechanical pulses set the stage for revelations amid the accumulated tensions of prior nights, from spring-lock confinements to animatronic disassemblies. Hand Unit resumes its directives with a familiar cheer, guiding him to traverse Funtime Auditorium en route to parts and service. But the routine gives way to an unsettling find. Two technicians from earlier shifts, their bodies suspended in nooses high amid the auditorium's props and dim spotlights. A grim testament to the perils that extend beyond malfunctioning units. This discovery stems from Afton Robotics' hidden dangers, where the Funtime's autonomies, evident in Ballora's scooping and Minorinus' persistence, culminate in eliminating perceived threats as the hanged figures dangle lifelessly, their forms swaying slightly in the ventilated air. Circus Baby's voice remains absent in this initial horror, leaving Michael to proceed through the shadows, his maturity tested by the visual weight of consequences tied to William Afton's remnant experiments. In this calm progression, the facility's vents whisper unspoken warnings, as the sighting heightens awareness of coordinated intents among the entertainers, blending routine verifications with the stark reality of lethal undercurrents. Michael's quiet observation here matters in the canon, marking a pivot where passive maintenance evolves into direct confrontation with the facility's darker mechanics, paving the path toward deeper chambers and irreversible entanglements with the amalgamated forms below. Pressing onward under Hand Unit's continued prompts, Michael navigates to the parts and service room, where Circus Baby appears in a powered-down state upon her maintenance platform, her once charismatic form now still and unresponsive amid the array of tools, cables, and spare components scattered across the workbenches. This apparent inertness originates from the prior night's amalgamation processes, where her role in guiding through galleries and breakers leaves her vulnerable, yet her voice persists through embedded speakers, providing calm instructions to approach and interact with her chassis without delay. In Afton Robotics' engineered framework, such states enable safe interventions, but Baby's directives reveal a layered facade, as Michael follows her cues to press specific buttons under her faceplates, a series of precise actions that unlock concealed compartments and bypass security locks. Fazbear Entertainment's tradition of modular designs facilitates this access, where faceplates conceal vital modules for AI adjustments or data transfers, blending entertainment utility with experimental secrecy. Michael's steady execution of the sequence demonstrates his determination, honed through evasions and repairs, fostering a quiet focus amid the room's sterile hums and faint metallic scents. The result deepens his involvement, bridging surface-level fixes with core manipulations that hint at broader plans, leading toward the scooping room's looming revelations and the fun time's unified purpose. With the faceplate sequence successfully entered, Michael retrieves a small chip from Circus Baby's internal cavity, a compact device containing essential data or components tied to her operations. Carefully extracting it, as per her voiced guidance that echoes softly in the enclosed space, ensuring no damage to the surrounding circuitry. This retrieval arises from the facility's remnant harvesting mechanics, where chips act as conduits for transferring essences or programs, a detail rooted in William Afton's blueprints that integrate such elements into the Funtime series for enhanced functionality and possession capabilities. Hand Unit's interface offers no additional commentary during this task, emphasizing reliance on Baby's instructions amid the lingering implications of the hanged technicians discovered earlier. In the lore, this act holds significance by unveiling the animatronics' strategic deceptions, where an ostensibly lifeless form directs actions that advance their escape agendas, stripping away illusions of control and exposing the rental service's true underbelly. Michael's handling of the chip reinforces his enduring role, where maturity prevents hesitation, yet the quiet weight of the procedure amplifies vulnerability, setting the course for the night's climactic path through shadowed auditoriums and toward transformative encounters. As Michael Afton continues his fifth shift at Circus Baby's entertainment and rental, following the chip retrieval from her chassis in parts and service, Circus Baby's voice reemerges with clear directives, instructing him to ignore Hand Unit's path to the private room and head to the scooping room, a command that draws him further into the underground's restricted pathways amid the night's subdued mechanical rhythms. This guidance stems from her embedded programming, designed by William Afton to facilitate component transfers while masking deeper intentions, as her instructions override the standard protocol that would carry him through familiar routes toward the disassembly chamber. Hand Unit's interface remains passive in this phase, its usual prompts overridden by Baby's authoritative tone, emphasizing her central role in orchestrating movements within Afton Robotics' layout. Michael's compliance with the instruction propels the narrative forward, where the deviation's implications echo through the vents, blending the familiarity of prior traversals like Ballora Gallery crawls with a weight boom of accumulating discoveries, from hanged technicians to extracted modules. In this calm advancement, the facility's dim corridors pulse with unspoken coordination, as following Baby initiates a sequence that exposes the Funtime's unified strategies, underscoring the lore's theme of deceptive alliances. The result heightens his vulnerability, bridging routine obedience with the scooping room's impending revelations, where familial experiments converge in quiet inevitability. Ignoring Hand Unit's private room directive, her voice persists through the speakers, leading Michael back through Funtime Auditorium, a spacious area now shrouded in deeper shadows and scattered with performance remnants, requiring careful navigation to avoid alerts from lingering sensors or unseen movements. This path originates from the facility's interconnected design, where auditoriums serve as hubs for rental preparations, but double as transit routes for technicians, as Baby's instructions provide timed flashes to progress amid the Fox's potential ambushes, echoing the knockout from earlier nights. In Fazbear Entertainment's broader framework, such spaces blend entertainment staging with maintenance perils, where dim spotlights cast elongated forms over cables and props, testing Michael's maturity in heeding her words without hesitation. Circus Baby's narrative unfolds gradually during the traversal, her tone measured as she describes the amalgamation of parts, hinting at the collective's need for a new vessel without full disclosure. This guidance matters in the canon by building tension through auditory reliance, where her voice, familiar from breaker reboots and suit protections, fosters a fragile trust amid the auditorium's echoes. Consequently, it deepens his immersion in the deception, leading toward the scooping room's threshold, where partial truths yield to transformative exposures. Upon nearing the scooping room, Circus Baby reveals the underlying plan in full, explaining how the Fun Times have orchestrated events to use Michael's body as a disguise for escape, her voice detailing the scooper's role in hollowing him out to accommodate Enard, the merged endoskeleton formed from their combined remnants. This confession arises from the night's progression, rooted in Afton Robotics' remnant technology that enables soul transfers and mechanical fusions. As Baby recounts the deliberate deactivations, like Ballora's prior disassembly, to consolidate power in a single form capable of surface integration. Hand Unit's absence amplifies the isolation, leaving her monologue to fill the chamber's metallic expanse, where the massive claw device looms inactive yet poised. In the lore, this revelation holds significance by unveiling the animatronic's calculated betrayal, where guidance throughout shifts, from hiding under desks to chip extractions, serves their liberation, stripping Michael's agency in quiet layers. His presence at the threshold reinforces determination amid shock, where maturity confronts the cost of familial directives, setting the stage for the scooper's activation and subsequent reanimation. As Michael Afton stands in the scooping room at Circus Baby's entertainment and rental, the culmination of his fifth shift unfolds with the activation of the scooper, a massive mechanical claw suspended from the ceiling that descends with a deliberate whir, targeting his form in the chamber's stark metallic confines. This initiation stems from Circus Baby's final revelations in Funtime Auditorium, where her voice detailed the Funtime's plan for amalgamation, luring him into position under the guise of finding her, while the silhouettes of the animatronics loom in the shadows. Hand Unit's absence leaves the room in relative quiet, broken only by the claw's hydraulic hums and the faint echoes of prior disassemblies, like Ballora's earlier extraction that contributed to the collective endoskeleton in Afton Robotics' engineered depths. The scooper's purpose, originally for extracting endoskeletons from animatronic shells, now repurposes toward human intervention, as Michael's obedience to Baby's directives places him directly beneath its path, exposing the facility's dual role in maintenance and manipulation. This moment matters in the canon by marking the irreversible shift from technician to vessel, where deceptive guidance yields to physical alteration, underscoring the cost of William Afton's remnant pursuits. Consequently, the claw's strike hollows him out, ending his natural life in an instant while opening the way for the Funtime's escape, bridging his human resolve with mechanical possession in quiet finality. The scooper's activation on Michael allows Enard, the tangled amalgamation of endoskeletons from Circus Baby, Ballora, Funtime Freddy, and Funtime Foxy, to enter his emptied frame, weaving its wires and remnants into the space left by the claw's precise excavation. This inhabitation originates from the Funtime's coordinated deactivations throughout the week, where each scooping event, guided by Baby's voice through vents and service rooms, consolidated their parts into a single humanoid structure capable of surface navigation. In the scooping room's confined expanse, illuminated by overhead panels casting cold light on conveyor belts and discarded shells, Enard's integration proceeds seamlessly, its form slithering into Michael's body with a series of metallic clicks and adjustments. Fredbear Entertainment's legacy of possessed machinery amplifies this fusion, where remnant essences bind the collective to the host, transforming a routine shift's end into a symbiotic horror. Michael's stillness during the process highlights his vulnerability, where maturity and following instructions leads to this ultimate deception, fostering a narrative of quiet endurance amid betrayal. The effect is a new existence for Enard, disguised in human skin, setting the stage for custom night progressions where decay begins to manifest above ground, unfolding in the facility's deepest levels. This incident encapsulates the week's deceptions, where the scooper's fatal strike not only terminates Michael's original state, but enables the animatronic's long-planned liberation, their combined form now housed within him as he exits the underground. The event's location, buried beneath layers of vents, galleries, and modules, reinforces Afton Robotics' isolation, with the room's walls echoing the claw's final retraction and Enard's settling movements. Circus Baby's overarching plan, revealed in fragments through her guidance, from Bidybab hidings to chip retrievals, reaches fruition here, as the amalgamation's creation allows evasion of the rental service's confines. In the canon, this depth matters by emphasizing the facility's role in remnant experiments, where human involvement yields to mechanical dominance, stripping illusions of control in measured layers. Michael's transformation leaves him altered yet animated, where the incident's quiet horror propels him towards surface walks and reflective monologues, echoing familial ties and shadowed persistence. In the custom night sequences following Michael's scooping at Circus Baby's entertainment and rental, the initial cutscenes portray him in a state of relative normalcy, his form navigating quiet suburban streets, when neighbors extend cheerful waves from their homes. A display of community warmth that contrasts the underground horrors he has endured. This depiction stems from the game's minigame design, where Michael's sprite, clad in his purple shirt, blue pants, and brown shoes, walks steadily under evening skies, his light skin and combed darkish brown hair framing blue eyes that reflect a lingering humanity amid the early stages of Enard's possession. Hand Unit's absence in these surface scenes shifts focus to everyday interactions, where the waves occur as he passes well-lit houses and manicured lawns, rooted in Afton Robotics' narrative of post-facility life blending seamlessly at first. Circus Baby's lingering influence from her deceptions in the scooping room subtly underlies this phase, as Enard's integration remains stable enough to allow unremarkable excursions without immediate suspicion. Michael's normal appearance here matters in the canon by establishing a baseline for transformation, where friendly gestures underscore his efforts to maintain routine despite the mechanical intruder, fostering a quiet empathy for his plight. Consequently, these early waves create a poignant foundation, highlighting the fragility of his external world before internal corrosion begins to manifest, leading toward progressive isolation in subsequent depictions. As the custom night cutscenes advance, gradual alterations emerge in Michael's visage, with his skin shifting first to a tan hue that deepens the shadows on his face during neighborhood strolls, a change driven by the onset of decay from Enard's corrosive presence within his hollowed frame. This progression originates from the facility's remnant effects, where the amalgamated endoskeleton's wiring and essences accelerate bodily breakdown, as shown in sprites that depict him passing fewer illuminated windows amid dimmer streetlights. In Fazbear Entertainment's extended lore, such shifts tie back to William Afton's experiments, where possession yields visible erosion, turning a warm smile into a more strained expression as eyes begin to darken, losing their initial brightness. Neighbors' waves persist, but grow tentative, reflecting subtle unease in the community's response to his evolving form, a detail captured through animated gestures that lessen in enthusiasm. This transitional stage holds significance by building narrative tension, where physical changes cause social ripples, preventing full integration and amplifying the isolation from prior underground deceptions like chip retrievals and conveyor activations. The result is a layered vulnerability, where tan skin signals the inevitable path to further decay, bridging early normalcy with the green pallor that follows in later sequences. Further along in the custom night depictions, Michael's transformation intensifies, his skin adopting a greenish tint that casts an unwell pallor over his features, with eyes deepening to shadowed voids as the walks become more solitary under overcast skies. Enard's instability catalyzes this green shift, as the endoskeleton's components corrode tissues from within, leading to hunched postures and fewer neighborly interactions, where waves diminish to rare acknowledgments from distant figures. Afton Robotics' underground legacy permeates these scenes, with the facility's scooper's legacy manifesting in surface decline, as Michael's hair thins and his stride slows amid empty streets lined with silent homes. In the canon, this green phase matters by emphasizing the toll of amalgamation, where darkening eyes symbolize lost vitality, contrasting the initial cheerful greetings and underscoring the deception's long-term consequences. Michael's persistence through these changes reinforces his quiet resolve, fostering a narrative of enduring alteration without retreat. Ultimately, it enriches the arc, where growing isolation from fewer waves propels toward the later indigo decay, echoing familial pursuits in shadowed persistence. In the concluding phases of the custom night cutscenes at Circus Baby's entertainment and rental, Michael's transformation reaches its most profound depths, with his skin adopting a dull, deep purple tone that casts an ethereal pallor over his form during solitary evening walks through increasingly empty suburban streets. This purple shift emerges from the advanced corrosion caused by Enard's prolonged possession, as the amalgamated endoskeleton's remnant-infused components erode tissues relentlessly, turning once light skin into a mottled canvas under the faint glow of distant street lamps and overcast skies. Hand Unit's earlier directives fade entirely from these surface depictions, leaving Michael's sprite to convey quiet deterioration amid silent houses and barren sidewalks, where the facility's mechanical legacies manifest in visible ruin. Circus Baby's deceptions, from scooping room lures to amalgamation plans, underpin this stage, as Enard's instability accelerates the breakdown, stripping away layers of humanity honed through shifts of repairs and evasions. In this calm progression, the neighborhood's quiet amplifies his isolation, where purple hues symbolize the irreversible toll of Afton Robotics' experiments, blending familial obedience with mechanical dominance. Michael's persistence through these walks matters in the canon by emphasizing endurance amid decline, where maturity yields to physical surrender, leading toward the final expulsion and reflective resolve in shadowed monologues. As decay intensifies in these later custom night sequences, a white pupil glow begins to emanate from Michael's eyes, piercing the purple veil with an unnatural luminescence that hints at the remnant essences sustaining his animation amid hunched postures and labored steps. This ocular change originates from Enard's integration, where the endoskeleton's wiring infuses captured souls into the host, causing eyes to shift from blue alertness to white-dotted voids that reflect internal turmoil during nocturnal outings past dimly lit homes. In Fazbear Entertainment's broader framework, such glows echo the animatronic's possessed optics, like Funtime Freddy's or Ballora's, tying Michael's fate to William Afton's pursuit of immortality through harvested remnants. Neighbors' absences grow pronounced here, their earlier waves replaced by vacant windows as crooked teeth emerge in his strained expressions, further distorting the warm smile of initial depictions. This evolution holds significance by humanizing the horror, where white eyes illuminate the quiet struggle against possession, fostering empathy for his arc without overt drama. The result is deepened vulnerability, bridging green pallor with boldness ahead, where each step propels toward severance from the mechanical intruder, culminating in the final custom night scene. Michael becomes fully bald, his hunched frame missing features like his nose amid crooked teeth and empty sockets, a visage that collapses in exhaustion before regurgitating Enard's tangled remains into a nearby sewer grate under the cover of night. This expulsion stems from Enard's ultimate incompatibility. As the endoskeleton's collective strains overwhelm the decaying host, forcing ejection in a visceral display of wires and parts spilling forth amid urban shadows. Afton Robotics' underground experiments reach their surface climax here, with the facility's scooper's legacy manifesting in this release, freeing Michael from possession while leaving him altered. Circus Baby's voice echoes faintly in memory, her assurances of survival lingering as he rises anew, bald and featureless, yet animated. In the lore, this regurgitation matters by resolving the amalgamation's arc, where hunched isolation yields to quiet revival, underscoring themes of endurance beyond betrayal. Ultimately, it positions him for monologues of intent, his transformed state a silent echo of familial pursuits in persistent shadow. In the wake of Enard's expulsion during the final custom night sequence at Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental, Michael Afton collapses onto the cold pavement beside the sewer grate, his purple-hued form slumping in exhaustion as the amalgamated endoskeleton's remnants slither away into the darkness below, leaving him hollow and still under the muted glow of distant streetlights. This moment of severance stems from the possession's inherent instability, where Enard's collective components, drawn from Circus Baby's core, Bellora's frame, Funtime Freddy's structure, and Funtime Foxy's agility, prove incompatible with the decaying host over time, forcing regurgitation after weeks of surface navigation amid dwindling neighborly interactions. Hand units protocols, long since irrelevant in these post-facility scenes, offer no guidance, emphasizing Michael's isolation in a suburban expanse now devoid of waves or warmth. Circus Baby's lingering influence resurfaces faintly here, her voice echoing through his mind with the assurance, "You won't die," a phrase rooted in her earlier deceptions during the scooping room activation, now manifesting as a catalyst for reanimation amid the night's quiet. In this calm interlude of apparent end, the facility's remnant experiments reveal their enduring grip, where Afton Robotics' technology sustains life beyond natural bounds, blending William Afton's pursuit of essence preservation with Michael's quiet endurance. The result is a pivotal revival, where collapse yields to subtle stirring, positioning him for reflections on purpose amid the shadows of familial legacies. As Circus Baby's echoed words resonate, Michael rises unsteadily from the ground, his altered frame, bald, noseless, and marked by crooked teeth within empty sockets pierced by faint white pupils, defying the finality of decay to stand once more in the empty street, animated by unnatural forces that pulse through his veins like faint electrical currents. This resurgence originates from the remnant infused during Enard's tenure, a canonical detail tied to the scooper's injection mechanics that bind souls to machinery, allowing Michael's consciousness to persist despite the physical toll of purple corrosion and organ extraction. In Fazbear Entertainment's extended framework, Such revival echoes the animatronic's own possessions, where essences captured in chips and modules transfer resilience, enabling him to press onward without the endoskeleton's burden. The surface world's silence amplifies this moment, with vacant houses and dim lamps framing his solitary figure, a stark contrast to the initial cheerful waves that once greeted him. Michael's maturity, forged through shifts of repairs, evasions, and betrayals, sustains him here, fostering a quiet resolve that transcends bodily ruin. Consequently, the revival leaves him transformed yet functional, bridging possession's end with a path toward confrontation, where quiet steps lead away from the great into the night's embrace. Despite the profound alterations etched into his form, from purple skin to white pupils, Michael presses on with a steadfast determination, his revived state granting him the means to pursue unresolved ties in the aftermath of the facility's ordeals, stepping forward into the suburban quiet with a purpose honed by survival's harsh lessons. This persistence arises from the remnant's stabilizing effects, as Afton Robotics' underground legacy equips him to endure beyond Enard's abandonment, allowing mobility amid the erosion that once confined him to shadowed walks. Circus Baby's assurance echoes as a lingering anchor, her words a subtle reminder of the deceptions that shaped his journey, from keypad sequences to conveyor activations. In the lore, this onward press matters by humanizing his arc's closure, where physical horror yields to introspective drive, underscoring themes of familial obedience turning to quiet defiance. The outcome enriches his narrative, preparing him for monologues that articulate intent, his altered silhouette fading into the distance as resolve carries him toward echoes of William Afton's influence. In the reflective aftermath of his revival following Enard's expulsion, Michael Afton delivers a measured monologue addressed to his father, William Afton, his voice emerging calm and resolute through the game's Golden Freddy mode cutscene, a hidden sequence unlocked after navigating the facility's custom challenges at Circus Baby's entertainment and rental. This address begins with a simple acknowledgement. "Father, it's me, Michael," establishing his identity amid the shadows of familial ties that have drawn him into Afton Robotics' underground depths, where shifts of repairs, evasions, and deceptions have culminated in profound alteration. The monologue stems from his experiences throughout the week. From initial hand unit guided checks on Ballora and Funtime Foxy to the Scooper's fatal strike, now distilled into words that echo with quiet finality against the facility's lingering mechanical hums. Michael's choice to speak directly to William underscores the personal stakes, where obedience to paternal directives, leading him to the rental service's vents and service rooms, yields to introspective reckoning. In this serene delivery, the surface world's suburban quiet frames his thoughts, as purple decay and white pupils fade into verbal expression, blending endurance with purpose. This address matters in the canon by humanizing his arc, where revival propels him toward closure, bridging bodily horror with a narrative of fulfillment amid Fazbear Entertainment's haunted legacy. Continuing his reflection, Michael recounts his accomplishments, stating, "I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be," referring to the underground facility itself, discovered precisely as William's instructions had indicated, a testament to the accuracy of those guiding communications that pulled him back into the family's entangled operations. This discovery originates from his persistence through the nights, where animatronics like Circus Baby guided him deceptively toward amalgamation, mistaking him at times for William due to shared resemblances in build and demeanor, as their programmed responses blurred lines between father and son in the dimly lit galleries. Hand Unit's protocols, once a constant companion, recede in this narrative, leaving Michael's words to highlight the animatronic's confusion. They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. A detail rooted in Afton Robotics' remnant possessions that imprint souls with vengeful perceptions. The monologue's progression here holds significance by revealing the facility's role as a convergence point for trapped essences, where Michael's presence fulfills a directive while exposing betrayals, fostering a quiet empathy for his mistaken identity amid William's experiments. Consequently, it deepens his resolve, where finding the place as instructed leads to personal costs, setting the stage for acknowledgments of his sister's fate in measured tones. Michael then turns to his sister, Elizabeth Afton, declaring, "And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to," alluding to her possession within Circus Baby. A ringleader animatronic whose ice cream dispenser and voice had concealed her essence until the amalgamation process allowed a form of release through Enard's creation. This fulfillment arises from William's initial request, interpreted through Michael's actions in retrieving chips and proceeding to the scooping room, where disassembly and fusion ostensibly reunited fragmented parts, freeing her spirit from solitary confinement within the unit. In the lore's framework, this act echoes the Fun Times collective drives, where Michael's involvement, despite the scooper's hollowing, achieves a bittersweet liberation, as he notes she's free now amid his own shadowed existence marked by decay and unnatural revival. The reflection pauses on his condition. "But something is wrong with me," acknowledging the remnant-sustained life that defies death, a consequence of Enard's possession and expulsion. This introspection matters by emphasizing themes of sacrifice, where putting her back together yields personal ruin, humanizing the journey without haste. Ultimately, it enriches the narrative, his words a bridge to lingering intents carried forward in quiet persistence. In the introspective close of his monologue within the Golden Freddy mode cutscene at Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental, Michael Afton articulates the core motivation behind his return to the facility, revealing that he took the technician position to liberate his sister Elizabeth's spirit, trapped within the animatronic form of Circus Baby since an earlier incident tied to William Afton's creations. This purpose originates from paternal instructions that guided him to the underground rental service, where nightly tasks, from hand units' shocking protocols on Ballora and Funtime Foxy to chip retrievals in parts and service, served as steps toward fulfilling that directive, blending obedience with a quiet quest for release. Circus Baby's deceptive voice, woven through vents and galleries, facilitated this by leading him to amalgamation, where Enard's formation ostensibly freed Elizabeth's essence from solitary possession. In Afton Robotics' shadowed framework, Michael's application for the job matters as it humanizes his endurance, transforming routine maintenance into a familial redemption amid remnant experiments. The facility's dim modules and conveyor hums provide a backdrop for this intent, where each evasion and repair built toward her liberation, fostering a sense of accomplishment tempered by personal cost. Consequently, it deepens his narrative, where freeing her causes a shift from victim to agent, echoing through his altered existence in custom night decays. Michael conveys this resolution with a gentle tone in his recorded words, expressing quiet happiness that Elizabeth is now free from her mechanical confines, a sentiment rooted in the scooper's role in disassembling Circus Baby and integrating her parts into Enard, allowing her spirit a form of escape beyond the ice cream dispenser and performance stages. This gentle reflection stems from his sibling bond, contrasted against the facility's harsh mechanics like Minorina fend-offs in spring-lock suits and breaker reboots amid Funtime Freddy's distractions, Where her voice had guided him with feigned empathy, Fazbear Entertainment's legacy of possessed entertainers amplifies this joy, as liberation breaks the cycle of remnant binding, granting her peace after years of entrapment. Yet Michael's happiness tempers with sadness over his own shadowed existence, marked by purple decay, baldness, and white pupils post-Ennard's expulsion, a life sustained unnaturally in suburban isolations. In the lore, this duality holds significance by highlighting sacrifice's weight, where her freedom causes his enduring ruin, humanizing the arc without exaggeration. The result is a balanced introspection, bridging sibling release with personal lament, leading toward his final declarations amid the quiet of revival. Concluding his address, Michael outlines his remaining goal: to come find his father, William Afton, a pursuit driven by the revelations of betrayal and possession uncovered through the facility's depths, from hanged technicians in Funtime Auditorium to the Scooper's hollowing strike. This intent arises from his transformed state, where unnatural revival equips him with resilience to seek resolution, echoing the initial directives that placed him in Hand Unit's grasp. Circus Baby's amalgamation plans, now thwarted by Ennard's abandonment, fuel this drive, as Michael's shadowed life, haunted by crooked teeth and empty sockets, demands confrontation with the architect of remnant horrors. In Afton Robotics' canonical framework, this goal matters by propelling the narrative beyond the rental service, where Finding William ties loose ends of familial experiments, blending quiet determination with inevitable pursuit. The surface streets, once walked in decay, now symbolize this path, where revival's assurance yields to active seeking. Ultimately, it enriches his journey, his words a serene vow amid the echoes of vents and claws, carrying forward in persistent shadow. Within the pages of the survival logbook, a canonical companion to the events at Circus Baby's entertainment and rental, Michael Afton reveals layers of his personality through handwritten entries, showcasing a sarcasm that lightly jabs at Fazbear Entertainment's notorious lapses in safety protocols, where his notes poke at the absurdity of guidelines meant to protect night guards from animatronic threats. This sarcasm emerges in responses to prompts about workplace hazards, such as doodling exaggerated warnings or quipping about the inadequacy of doors and lights against possessed machinery, a tone rooted in his first-hand experiences navigating vents filled with Bellora's melodies or rebooting breakers amid Funtime Freddy's distractions. Hand Unit's cheerful instructions from the facility contrast this wit, where Michael's entries reflect a wry awareness of the rental service's underbelly, from scooper deceptions to remnant experiments that left him altered. In Afton Robotics' broader context, this humor serves as a coping mechanism, allowing him to process the isolation of custom night decays without succumbing to despair. Blending maturity with subtle defiance against William Afton's designs. The logbook structure, with its activity pages and Fazbear branding, amplifies these traits, where sarcasm prevents the weight of nightly perils from overwhelming, fostering a quiet resilience. Consequently, it humanizes his arc, where light-hearted jabs bridge underground horrors with surface reflections, leading toward notations of deeper scars. Michael's entries also note a persistent paranoia, a vigilance born from repeated hauntings during his shifts, where he describes sleeping with one eye open to anticipate threats like Bidybab intrusions or Minorina clambers, habits ingrained after fending off dangers in springlock suits and shadowed auditoriums. This paranoia originates from the facility's autonomous animatronics, whose movements, driven by Circus Baby's guiding voice and amalgamation plans, instilled a constant wariness, as evidenced in his sketches of emergency exits, or checklists for survival amid the 6-night ordeals that tested his endurance. Fredbear Entertainment's legacy of malfunctioning entertainers fuels this mindset, where logbook prompts on rest elicit responses about restless nights haunted by echoes of conveyor hums and scooper strikes. In the canonical framework, this trait holds significance by underscoring the psychological toll of his role, where maturity and persistence coexists with mental echoes of betrayal, preventing full relaxation even in post-shift routines like popcorn viewings. The logbook's faded pages capture this subtly, with crossed-out fears or underlined alerts, blending determination with underlying tension. The result is a deepened vulnerability, where paranoia sustains survival, echoing through drawings that tie back to facility remnants in quiet persistence. Throughout the survival logbook, Michael's drawings showcase an artistic talent, rendering detailed illustrations that reference specific items from his time at the facility, such as baskets of exotic butters or casual bongos, symbols of the mundane comforts amid the chaos of repairs and evasions in parts and service. This talent arises from his reflective downtime, where sketches of nightmare animatronics or facility layouts reveal a keen eye for detail, rooted in experiences like pressing buttons under circus babies' faceplates or witnessing Ballora's disassembly. Afton Robotics' mechanical intricacies inspire these artworks, where exotic butters' rewards from custom challenges appear as doodled escapes, contrasting the purple decay of his revived form. In the lore, these drawings matter by providing glimpses into his inner world, where sarcasm and paranoia find visual expression, humanizing the everyman protagonist without overt drama. The logbook's activity sections encourage this creativity, with Michael's contributions adding layers to his personality. From humorous exaggerations to precise recreations, ultimately, it enriches the narrative. His talent, a quiet anchor amid hauntings, carrying forward in persistent shadow. In the detailed entries of the survival logbook, a canonical extension of Michael's experiences tied to circus babies' entertainment and rental, he expresses a clear preference for the perks of his technician role. Noting that free pizza stands out as a primary draw for taking the job, a simple incentive amid the facility's demanding nights filled with hand units directives and animatronic evasions. This desire emerges in responses to prompts about job motivations, where Michael circles free pizza among options, reflecting a grounded appreciation for tangible rewards that counter the isolation of crawling through Ballora Gallery or rebooting breakers in Funtime Freddy's presence. Afton Robotics' connection to Fredbear Entertainment's pizzeria roots subtly influences this, as pizza evokes the surface-level facade of family fun, contrasting the underground's remnant experiments and deceptions like circus babies' lures to the scooping room. Michael's notation here humanizes his endurance, where maturity and persistence blend with everyday cravings, preventing the weight of indigo decay and post-possession revival from overshadowing small joys. The logbook's structured pages capture this preference with doodled slices or casual marks emphasizing its appeal, fostering a quiet relatability amid paranoia from haunted shifts. Consequently, it enriches his arc, where free pizza symbolizes a link to normalcy, bridging facility horrors with surface aspirations in measured reflection. Complementing his job incentives, Michael circles money as his favored bonus in the logbook's activity sections, highlighting a practical mindset that values financial compensation for the risks endured during custom night challenges and the facility's mechanical betrayals. This choice stems from the payroll mechanics tied to hand units completions, where earnings accumulate despite malfunctions like power failures or mini-arena intrusions, rewarding his determination through vents and service rooms. In Fredbear Entertainment's operational framework, Money represents stability amid William Afton's lingering legacies, allowing Michael to envision support beyond the exotic butters or casual bongos referenced in his drawings, items that punctuate his sarcastic takes on safety lapses. The preference holds significance by underscoring his everyman qualities, where sarcasm and paranoia coexist with pragmatic goals, humanizing the protagonist without exaggeration. The logbook's faded prompts elicit this circling, blending it with sketches that reveal talent, creating a layered portrait of habits sustained through revival's toll. The result is a deepened resolve, where monetary focus anchors his reflections, leading toward notations of personal vices and dreams in quiet persistence. Among his noted habits, Michael admits to chewing bubblegum frequently, expressing an intent to curb the practice as part of his self-reflections in the logbook, a small vice that offers momentary distraction from the echoes of scooper strikes or Enard's expulsion in suburban shadows. This admission arises in responses to wellness queries, where he marks the gum chewing amid lists of routines, rooted in the stress of facility shifts that demanded vigilance against Biddybob hidings or Funtime Foxy's ambushes. Afton Robotics' sterile environments contrast this oral habit, where the chew provides a tactile comfort akin to popcorn evenings, blending with his snacking preferences that include desires for treats beyond free pizza. In the canon, this aim to reduce gum use matters by revealing vulnerability, where maturity confronts minor dependencies, fostering empathy for his haunted existence without drama. The logbook's pages document this with crossed-out tallies or light-hearted notes, tying it to broader traits like artistic doodles. Ultimately, it adds nuance, his effort to curb the habit, a quiet step toward balance, echoing through aspirations for escape in tropical settings. In the unfolding narrative of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, Michael Afton assumes the position of manager for a new establishment bearing the Fazbear name, a role that places him at the helm of daily operations, where decisions on attractions, staffing, and inventory shape the business's trajectory amid the familiar hum of animatronic entertainers. This management begins with a simple setup phase, where Michael selects catalog items like arcade machines, decorations, and performer stages, each choice influencing the pizzeria's atmosphere and profitability, as simulated through the game's mechanics. HandUnit's voice returns in the tutorial guise, guiding him through liability assessments and blueprint layouts, a callback to his technician days at Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental, yet now expanded to entrepreneurial oversight in Afton Robotics' extended legacy. These selections matter as they attract or deter remnant-possessed entities, blending commercial simulation with subtle horror elements rooted in William Afton's enduring experiments. Michael's approach here reflects his matured resolve, where post-revival persistence, marked by purple decay and quiet monologues, drives him to curate a space that serves deeper purposes beyond mere profit. The facility's bright interfaces contrast his shadowed existence, fostering a methodical engagement that tests adaptability without haste. Consequently, it builds toward nightly defenses, where managerial choices yield to survival against familiar threats, echoing familial ties in measured progression. As manager, Michael's business strategies vary based on the decisions he implements, from opting for budget-friendly items that minimize risks to investing in high-end attractions that boost ratings but invite greater liabilities, a dynamic rooted in the game's simulation, where metrics like atmosphere, entertainment, and safety fluctuate with each purchase. This variability stems from Fazbear Entertainment's rebranding efforts, where the pizzeria acts as a trap to gather possessed remnants, allowing Michael to salvage scrapped animatronics like Molten Freddy or Scrap Baby from back alleys, integrating them into the venue under the pretense of restoration. Tutorial Guy's voice, a new hand unit variant, provides feedback on these choices, noting impacts on nightly encounters, where ventilation systems and office defenses become crucial against intruding entities. In the canonical framework, this flexibility holds significance by empowering Michael's intent, where his logbook noted sarcasm and paranoia inform cautious selections, preventing overextension amid echoes of scooper betrayals and Enard expulsions. The pizzeria's customizable blueprint amplifies this, with placed items affecting audio lures and camera views, blending strategy with quiet vigilance. The outcome is a personalized operation, where varying approaches sustain the business facade, leading toward revelations of trapped souls in persistent shadow. Tying back to his ongoing connection with Fredbear entities, Michael's managerial role in the simulator serves as a conduit for confronting remnant legacies, where salvaged animatronics, possessing echoes of his sister Elizabeth in Scrap Baby or William in Scrap Trap, converge in the establishment, drawn by his deliberate setups that mask a final trap. This connection originates from his monologue's vow to find his father, extending his pursuit from Circus Baby's depths to this simulated pizzeria, where daily tasks like printing flyers or balancing budgets interweave with nightly salvages that risk possession or attack. Fredbear Entertainment's overarching influence permeates here, as the role revives themes of mistaken identity from facility shifts, with entities responding to Michael's Afton resemblance amid office vents and flickering monitors. In the lore, this tie matters by culminating his arc of redemption, where maturity and determination channel into a structured endgame, humanizing the everyman through choices that affect spirit releases without drama. The pizzeria's progression from opening day simulations to fiery conclusions underscores this, fostering empathy for his shadowed path. Ultimately, it enriches the narrative, his management a quiet bridge to resolution, carrying forward in echoes of familial pursuits. As the threads of Michael Afton's experiences weave together across the canonical events of Sister Location, the Survival Logbook, and Pizzeria Simulator, his path emerges as one of quiet persistence through mechanical deceptions and familial echoes, a journey that begins with obedience to William Afton's directives and evolves into a resolute confrontation with the remnants of those creations. From the initial descent into Circus Baby's entertainment and rental, where hand units protocols guided him through shocks, repairs, and evasions amid the Funtime animatronics autonomies, Michael's role as technician laid the foundation for revelations that stripped away illusions of safety. The Scooper's strike and Enard's possession marked a transformative threshold, where his body became a vessel for escape, leading to custom night decays that eroded his form from light skin and blue eyes to purple hues and white pupils, all while sustaining him through remnant infusions. In this reflective close, the facility's vents, galleries, and service rooms stand as silent witnesses to his maturity, where each crawl and reboot built toward liberation of trapped essences, including his sister Elizabeth's within Circus Baby. The logbook's sarcastic entries and drawings further illuminate his inner world, blending paranoia from haunted nights with simple preferences like free pizza or money bonuses, humanizing the everyman amid Afton Robotics' experimental shadows. Ultimately, this arc underscores the cost of pursuit, where revival after expulsion grants him the means to manage new Fredbear ventures, tying loose ends in measured finality. Michael's management in Pizzeria Simulator extends this canonical trajectory, where choices in catalog selections and salvages draw possessed scraps like Molten Freddy or Scrap Baby into a simulated trap, reflecting his evolved determination to contain the remnant legacies that once hollowed him. Hand Unit's variant voices guide these decisions, balancing atmosphere and liability as the pizzeria operates under the facade of entertainment. Yet Michael's underlying intent, rooted in his monologue's vow to find William, infuses each blueprint with purpose, turning commercial simulation into a conduit for resolution. The logbook's habits, from bubblegum chewing to tropical vacation dreams, subtly inform this phase, where sarcasm shields against the paranoia of nightly intrusions, allowing him to navigate the office's vents and defenses with the same quiet focus that saw him through sister locations' deceptions. In Fazbear Entertainment's framework, this role holds quiet significance, as managerial variations affect spirit convergences, blending his personal revival with broader releases. The facility's mechanical hums echo faintly here, a reminder of scooper strikes and amalgamation plans that shaped his shadowed existence, fostering a narrative of endurance without haste. The result is a layered closure, where his actions in simulation pave the way for fiery ends, freeing essences in persistent shadow, drawing the canonical portrait to a serene end. Michael Afton's story in these tied elements stands as a testament to human resilience amid animatronic autonomies, where familial obedience yields to independent resolve, leaving him altered yet unbroken in the face of William Afton's remnant pursuits. From exotic Butters doodles in the logbook to pizzeria salvages that risk possession, each detail reinforces his arc as the central figure bridging Afton Robotics' experiments with Fazbear's haunted lineage. Hand Unit's instructions, Circus Baby's voices, and Enard's expulsions all converge in this reflection, where maturity and determination sustain him through decay and revival, offering glimpses of a life marked by quiet pursuits beyond the facility's depths. In the lore's calm expanse, this conclusion matters by emphasizing themes of sacrifice and release, where his preferences for simple comforts ground the horror in relatability. The suburban streets and office monitors fade into echo, symbols of paths walked in isolation, fostering empathy for his journey without final punctuation. Thus, Michael's canonical presence lingers, a silent thread in the series' mechanical tapestry, carrying forward in measured persistence. His story a quiet meditation on the cost of family ties and the strength required to finally sever them, finding peace in the flames that would eventually consume the establishment he built not for profit, but for closure.